Alright, I'm back here with my continuation of my positive rant on Sonic Underground. But again, there's so many things about it that a lot of people just never give it credit for. Um, you know, yeah, some people will complain about the fact that, oh, wait a minute, it only did 40 episodes and they never reunited with the mom. Well, you know what? There's a positive to that because if the rumors become true in the near future, then we'll get the answer. We'll finally see what we want to see. But still, um, again, looking at some of the positiveness about this show, looking at the show in a more positive light. Like I said in part one, there are things in the episode that are in the series that make it just as good as Sad AM and way better than Adventures, if you will. Like I said towards the end of part one, yes, they have the comedic moments, there's no doubt. But when you look at it, now that we're older and wiser from when it first came out, it's on the same wavelength, it's on the same level of maturity and drama and dark tones, if you will, as Sad AM, if not just a smidge more, probably in the dark and drama area. Because, like I said in part one, we never had an episode where a main character, like say Sonya, was on the verge of disappearing forever. We never had that. We never had so many episodes of Sad AM to where the characters had their backs against the wall and they had to fight their way out. They were never led into traps and captured and all that. Sonic Underground had that. They did. Another thing about Sonic Underground, which was really good, that Sad AM, I believe, if they had continued the series, could have really capitalized on. In fact, they capitalized a lot on it in the Archie comic books, is the visitation to different dimensions and zones. And that's the one positive thing that Sonic Underground did. I know that sounds like, I'm trying to favor Underground more. I'm not. In fact, if I do a top 5 or 6 countdown, you may be surprised what I put Underground at. But anyway, they did that, and Sad AM never did. Yeah, Adventures did something, but it was more like going through time. This was going through different dimensions. In fact, there was one episode where they went into a dimension and they saw, the price of a freedom, or the price that would be paid if they focused more on being selfish and wanting what they wanted instead of just, working towards it. Basically, it's an episode where they encounter themselves, where the roles are reversed, if you will. So, that is one thing that Sad AM never did. It's one thing they never did, but Underground did. And that was good. Here's another thing. Excuse me. Here's another thing. Now, like Sad AM, they did have this one thing in common. Both episodes, or both shows I should say, had multi-part episodes, or multi-chaptered episodes, where the freedom fighters, or in this case the Underground, were fighting against a doomsday project-like weapon. That was the only good thing. That was the only thing they had in common. And that episode, those 3-parters, which featured Knuckles, really showed the areas, that the show, it just really showed the potential overall of what the series could be if it had continued. There's so much, but again, like I said, so much potential in this series, and yet it was never really capitalized on. And because a lot of people look at it like, yeah, it was a good series, but the music videos ruined it. Look, it's like I said in part one. The music videos were there because The people that made this series probably figured it'd be the last one, and they went all out with it. That's why they did it. That's why those music videos are there. Now, another positive thing was, character-wise, could have been someone like, well, the main characters themselves. The main characters themselves. I mean, I truly believe this, because as I keep watching Sonic Underground, rewatching it now, I truly believe that, there might be an episode if the series was to be continued. And I know this sounds like I'm tooting an old horn, just like everybody else has been tooting when it came to Sat AM, but if rumors, like I said, are to be true about a continuation in the future, I've always believed that one of the things I believe potential-wise for the main characters, is to have them give up what makes them who they are. Now, I'm not talking about give up fighting for freedom and all that. I'm talking about give up the lifestyles that they're used to. Like with Sonya, she's used to being, all ritzy and all this and all that. We've seen that in some episodes. Yes, she has toned it down, but I believe, the potential lies within within the main characters, that if the series was to make a comeback, if the series just to close it out was to make a comeback, this is what I see. This is what I see. I see Sonya being told by the Oracle, along with her brothers, to give up trying to be an or basically give up being an aristocrat full on. Basically, stop being so prissy. Stop being, like, oh, I want, this, oh, I need to get my hair fixed. I need to go to this, just give all that up, and that will be your first step for Sonya to reuniting with her mom. And the same could be said for Manic. Yeah, Manic's is giving up his thieving ways, but he still steals. So the only way he could reunite with his mom is to completely give that up full-fledged. If you see something, don't steal it. Just give it up. And for someone like Sonic, the way he's been portrayed in the series for a couple of episodes, potential on him is to give up trying to do things on his own and start working and start realizing he's part of a team now, and he needs to work as a team with his siblings and soon with his mother to get the job done. Again, this is all potential that the series has. When you look at it, if you look at it now in its rerunnings, it has all this potential. It does. It really has that potential. Quite honestly, here's something I've always believed what was going to happen, and you could say, oh, they never had that planned. But here's something I've always believed, and I still believe this, that had the series just continued on 10 years ago or so, just continued on, didn't stop at the 40th episode, which was Virtual Danger, but just continued on, I truly believe that Ben Hurst, Pat Lee, and Lynn Johnson, and even Robbie London had some kind of crossover planned with Sat AM. I truly believe that. I mean, the Oracle, like I mentioned, has always been sending Sonya and Sonic and Manic all to these different dimensions. What would happen if they did an episode where the Oracle said, okay, you're going to go meet a group of freedom. I'm going to send you into a place, into a dimension, into a world where you're going to meet a similar group of freedom fighters fighting against the same fighting against the same Robotnik, and you're going to see the struggles they go through. I truly believe that was something in the works. I truly believe that could have happened. And believe me, maybe it'll happen again. We don't really know. But again, that's part of the potential that this series had. I mean, when you think about it, this series came out, three and a half, 4 years before Sonic X. This Underground series, crossing over with Sad AM, would have been a dream crossover for anybody. No doubt about it. It would have been a dream crossover. But again, like I said, that's just part of the potential that this series had, and a lot of positiveness. You got to look at some of the things in a positive way. You really do. I mean, it's not like it's not like it was there to annoy us and anything. It was just something different. And again, the writers, like I said, probably thought, well, if this is going to be the last series, let's go all out, and that's what they did. They did things. They brought in, ideas that were thrown out about Sonic, and they put them into this episode or into the series. Again, you can't just look at it and say, "Oh, well, it really wasn't going to do well anyway," or it was. It's just like it's just one of those series that when you look at it and say, "Yeah, it has potential," but where is that potential? You have to find it and look for it yourself. It's that kind of a series. And when you say, well, there is some positiveness to the series, but where is it? Again, you got to look and find it. And that's what I look at. Yeah, a lot of people, like I said, have their opinions about Underground. They do, and I respect their opinions. But let me tell you this. I was 20 years old when this series debuted. I'm 31 now. And looking back at it, and looking at it now at 31, I've come to realize, like I said, there's a lot more to this series. There's a lot more to this series than people give it credit for. There's a lot more positiveness there's a lot more positive things to say about the series than there is negative, and there's a lot more potential to the series than people think. And that's why I enjoy it. That's why I consider it to be one of the best Sonic cartoons out there, to be quite honest. That might sound like I'm crazy and all that, but you know what? It's my honest opinion. Well, that's all I'm going to say now. Tell me what you think, and you got your own opinions, let me know. In fact, I'll challenge you. Give me an audio or video response on what I said here, and tell me what you guys think. Tell the world what you think. And I'll talk to you all later. God bless, take care, have a good day, or a good night, whatever. Peace.